Today I want to talk to you guys about maybe the most controversial IRL streamer I have ever seen come across a platform. Someone that's doing things that no man should do and is now paying the price. I'm talking about Chud the Builder. This is someone that I've been watching over the past couple of weeks because when he's doing stuff, it gets more and more insane, and you just know that something's gonna happen to this man, and you wanna find yourself tuning in so you don't miss that moment. Let me give you a little bit of a look at what this guy's actually been doing, because it's actually pretty terrible. So as I mentioned, he's an IRL streamer. He walks around, I believe it's Tennessee, with a gun in the holster and with mace in hand with his camera, and I think he has another cameraman with him as well, going around and essentially taunting people, calling them derogatory terms, saying terrible things to them when they try and get away from the situation, basically taunting confrontation. And then when confrontation happens, typically he will spray them with mace, and then it essentially ends the confrontation. He also threatens that he will shoot people and kill them if they engage in any confrontation with him, and it's all on stream, right? He's live streaming all of this live, so a lot of people are kind of held back because, well, anything that they do is gonna be on live stream. So people need to be very careful. But recently, he actually took this to the next level. It was no longer just taunting anymore. Now maybe we're talking about attempted murder. Today we're diving in to this video to look at the details in full. Thank you for subscribing. Now let's dive in.
This IRL streamer destroyed his life live just days after being released from jail. And honestly, if you know anything about this guy, it shouldn't really surprise you that things escalated to this point.
Now, it just mentioned after he got out of jail. Let me explain really quickly how he got himself in jail. He was eating at a restaurant, accumulated a $400 bill at that restaurant, and obviously was doing something in the restaurant or known for what he does, and he was asked to leave. Upon leaving, after a little bit of an annoying interaction with leaving, he refused to pay his bill. So he was actually brought to jail because he didn't pay his bill at the restaurant. But he was he was clearly let out of jail after a day or two. I don't know how long his holding was. And then he was back to his same antics on the streets again.
And this quickly, because I would go as far as say that this might be the worst IRL streamer I've ever seen. And that bar is set pretty high because unfortunately I've covered more garbage IRL streamers than pretty much anyone else on YouTube. And the thing is, like, I've actually been trying to cover this guy for days now, but every time I think I have like a whole story together, he says or does something even crazier that I can't just not include.
Yeah, and this is totally true. Every single day I would see another thing popping across the feed of this guy doing something even more stupid than he did the day before.
Regardless, it's safe to say he might have just outdone himself this time, because apparently not only did he pull a firearm on someone during a live stream, but no, he actually pulled the trigger more than once.
I walked up to him because they were pointing at me. They were laughing, they were pointing at me, and I said, "What's up, guys? How y'all doing?" I said, "Y'all like the new suit?" He said, "Walk away from me." I walked away from him. He came back up to me. He literally said, "I have PTSD. I feel like I'm in." He said, "You start saying all that to me, I'm gonna hit you." He hit me, started wailing on me, even after I had to defend myself by shooting him. He's still wailing on me.
So I can only assume this absolute tragedy will stop him from making any more insane headlines for at least a day or two so we can get a video out on this.
Now, worth noting, when Chad was in that interview telling what happened, he was very calm. When you would see him in these actual videos, he is not that calm at all. He's actually quite rude, disgusting, and obnoxious.
But honestly, you never really know. Regardless though, if you're lucky enough to not know who Chud the Builder is, real name Dalton Levi Etherly, good for you. But unfortunately, I guess I'll change that now, because this guy is probably the most controversial and polarizing streamers online right now. And again, as I said previously, that bar is set pretty high because we've covered the worst, you know? So when I rank him worse than Johnny Smiley or even Vitaly, you know things are bad. And like many others we've covered here on this channel, he's been permanently banned on Kick, if that tells you anything about his character and content style. And since then, he's moved on to even more degenerate corners of the internet to live stream. And unfortunately, he feels like this like inevitable product of a cursed prank content creator and an IRL nuisance streamer that we often cover here on this channel. Because the dude is reportedly 28, probably had nothing going for him and thought, hey, why don't I just go viral by any means necessary? The dude wants attention. He's going to do anything to get it. Which,
yeah, he definitely he was no hold barred. He was just saying literally the worst things you can imagine people saying, typically going after people of color, so you could assume what he was calling people, and just trying to get the worst reactions out of these people so we can have these moments on live stream.
I guess includes allegedly baiting a fight to potentially take someone's life and claim self-defense. Yeah. It doesn't get too much worse than that.
You following me to my truck now? We got 18 rounds for you. We ain't got nothing else. Don't follow me to my truck. I bet you won't follow me in my truck. Come on.
Everything that's being bleeped out right there is him dropping the N-word over and over and over.
Look at him. Look at these now. 931 Seville. They ain't. Look at these. Hey, thanks for the new truck you bought me.
Yeah, this is pathetic. This is just straight up harassing strangers, minding their own business for his own stream content. And I mean, here on this channel, since we first started covering pranksters and IRL streamers, we've been advocating for a very simple right, that if you go out in public, you will not be harassed and antagonized by some IRL streamer or prankster for their monetary gain. We don't want to be content for someone without giving consent. Because it's safe to say this kind of creator pushes the filming in public laws pretty far, because there's a massive difference with someone harassing someone repeatedly on camera for their own monetary gain and someone filming a video in public and, you know, you pass by in the background.
Yeah, and when you think about it, if you're out in public, let's say you're out shopping and you see someone filming, a lot of people will feel uncomfortable. Maybe they don't want to be on that person's camera, even if it's just someone minding their own business and doing some type of filming or doing their own vlog. But to be brought into it, be pulled into it and baited into the content is just next level wrong. And there should be laws against people actually doing this.
There's a big difference there. So, I mean, if there's anything this channel is against, is people who harass strangers minding their own business in public for profit. But unfortunately, in 2026, I guess that's just too much to ask for, because awful platforms allow these people to thrive. Because, as I stated earlier, if you've seen any of the clips of him going viral online, it doesn't really feel like a shocker that he ended up shooting someone, and apparently himself, during a fight on a stream. And yes, you heard that right. Apparently this absolute genius grazed himself too, according to reports and audio that is said to be from his own stream immediately after the shots were fired.
Did I shoot myself, or
well,
did it graze it?
It went in. It went in. Penetrated, yeah.
But we'll get into that. I just want you guys to understand how disgusting this guy truly is. Because Chud the Builder is essentially a stage name for this strange fake cowboy character that he LARPs as online. Of course, it's probably way easier to go viral if you just act stupid and insane, so that's clearly what he does. And this is in addition to being just shockingly hateful.
Now, the strange thing about this is so many people hate this guy, but a lot of people support him as well, because what he's trying to say here is that he's fighting for everyone's freedom of speech, that he should be able to say whatever he wants. Tell me right now, do you agree with that? Do you think that someone should be able to go around harassing people for absolutely no reason, calling them derogatory names, no matter what their race, and just being extremely mean, taunting other people? Is that okay under the laws of freedom of speech? It's one thing to say something, it's another thing to say something to get a reaction out of people to then use to monetize your own content. It's sometimes the most disturbing how he gets so much support from certain people in the community. Certain people want pictures with him, they support what he says, they start saying what he's saying alongside of him. And after being arrested, he actually put out a GoFundMe, and as of me checking yesterday, had pulled in $125,000 in support to try to help him towards his bail.
Because at the core of his content is just aggressive racism and hatred used for shock value.
No more now. Get out of the road. Shut up. Get out of the road.
And then he pairs that with the apparent desire to pull various weapons on people who react to him and then claim self-defense.
Here. Back the f up.
So essentially, the way he gets content is he's just racist and hateful to strangers on the street, and then when they react, he threatens to pepper spray them or pull out his firearm.
And it's actually bear pepper spray, so used for bears. So, and he has sprayed people in the face with this pepper spray. No consequences for doing that.
So clearly we're dealing with a great person here, because if the mountains of footage of him yelling racial slurs at random people on the street wasn't enough to convince you of how terrible he is, then maybe the clips of him actually macing people who are merely verbally confronting him, that'll probably help.
He got Fendi glasses on. You ain't got. You got lens crafters on. Yes. This dude. That's why he's making money and you ain't. And he got the V-Lone on. What you wear? Your work shirt? What does that say? You're a atlum.
You ain't never gonna be nothing but a.
You guys do is talk.
You can't look me in the eyes because you might be the.
You on some or something? What are you
already
on?
told you I'm on your mama's suite.
Okay. You're, bro. Literally, all you do is talk about you.
Ah, I'm sorry.
Come back over here.
Okay. Let's not.
Come back over here.
Let's not fight. I am.
Touch me again. Touch me again.
I don't want to get pepper sprayed. I really don't.
Go pick up my hat. You heard me.
Fuck your shit.
Touch me again. Touch me again. That's what I thought. Thank you.
Don't hit me with that.
I ain't gonna pray you. That wants to put his hands on me again. Go home with you. Let's go get his ass.
Now, the funny thing is, which is actually not funny, the guy that just picked up his hat, which, mind you, is a black man, actually, after this all happens, goes up to Chud the Builder and asks him for a job as his cameraman, saying that he wants to work with him. This is someone that just heard him call another black man the N-word, and he wants to work with him because he wants to get in on this viral fame, of course. So this is another instance of people that are trying to in some way support what he's doing. Now, where the man that just got pepper sprayed went wrong was he did hit Chud's hat off of his head and then tried to slap the pepper spray out of his hand. So in that, maybe that's the reason why Chud could have said that he claimed self-defense, because the man did use the slightest amount of force against Chud the Builder. At the same time, there was no reason for that man to be pepper sprayed, and everything that was said right here was taunted by Chud himself.
Hail Hitler.
Guy's terrible.
Thanks for picking up my hat.
Yeah, great job. You also just maced everyone on the patio as well. So that's self-defense? Like, what? I feel like for every few months now, a new streamer appears out of nowhere and is just even worse than the last one. And I feel like I'm just sitting here like, how are we still stuck in this downward spiral? People will truly do anything for just a little bit of attention online, even if it absolutely destroys their life. But in the last week, he's been gaining so much traction with his antics that it kind of felt like someone being hurt was inevitable, whether it was by, you know, Chud and his self-defense strategies here, or someone, you know, running up on him, which happened. But I just don't think people expected him to hit, I guess, two birds with one stone and shoot himself as well as someone else. Because what's so crazy about all this is people started putting bounties on his head and warning him to not come to their cities.
I think that people should be able to say whatever they want without threat of violence.
You already got a bounty on your head right now, dude.
Oh, do I?
With the bullshit.
Do I? Talk about the bounty.
Because the dude was being stream sniped and harassed. He was getting cornered at gas stations and having his cowboy hat stolen off his head by another streamer who's also equally a degenerate, pretty much.
Yes.
And that feud in itself is just kind of like a battle of who will do anything for views, because both of these guys apparently will do that. I don't even know if I want to open the can of worms of the dude who stole his cowboy hat here on this channel right now. Maybe that's for a future video. But even though he says it became tough for him to stream IRL content due to people pressing him, I don't really know what he expected here. Like, his whole bit is baiting people into being mad at him. So why is he surprised when people get mad at him? Like, bro, that was your whole bit.
So the guy that stole his hat, because I will give you a little context here, was just another degenerate streamer, you know, low class kind of guy, steals Chud's hat and starts like running around with it, keeps the hat, shares with his stream that he got Chud the Builder's hat, and then I believe even launched some type of a meme coin, you know, a crypto meme coin to try and make some type of money from this as well. So someone, maybe I shouldn't say just as bad, but someone is of the same class of Chud the Builder came through and just tried to make himself viral from stealing Chud's hat.
People treat me like I'm some shock streamer. Like I'm that Trey kid that stole my hat. And you know, I was like totally about to just be like cool with him and be like, ah, you got me. All right. You want a hat? I'll go get you one that actually fits your baby ass head, bro. Let's go get one together on stream. It could be cool. And we could talk about whatever differences we have and whatever opinions that he thinks he disagrees with me on. And then he starts threatening to shoot me. He says, you touch your gun, I'll kill you. Now, why did it go to that? Sorry, whatever I did pissed off your black boyfriend. I didn't think it was that serious.
Like, you're supposed to be making fun of people for overreacting, but you want to have someone arrested for breaking your phone screen? Also, freedom of speech just means you can't be arrested for the things you say, which he's not being. He's being arrested for his incredibly stupid actions. But regardless, while he claimed that he was considering pressing charges against the guy who stole his hat and the dude who smashed his phone, that stuff got put onto the back burner only like a day or two later when he was arrested in Nashville for allegedly not paying a bill at a restaurant, acting disorderly, and resisting arrest. And naturally, the whole incident was live streamed to Chud's viewers. Ah yes, another video of him yelling slurs and acting like a complete moron because the restaurant didn't want him streaming inside of the restaurant. Are we really acting this pathetic? I guess so. But for a guy who loves yapping about people's rights and freedom, he sure does hate private businesses who are exercising their rights. Like, dude, this doesn't make sense. But regardless, he was released on Mother's Day and proceeded to moan on Twitter and on his stream about how unfair all of this was and how he could potentially sue everyone else involved.
I can't even, like, my whole family doesn't even with me, bro.
I don't know how he could do the things that he's doing, literally making everyone hate him. I guess there's some people that do side with him, of course, but most people hate him, and if they see him, just seeing his face is going to bring them rage. How he can then come here and get emotional saying how his family's not there and how he doesn't know and like, I mean, he built this persona. And by the way, there was a persona even before this. This is a guy that's been in trouble before he's even done the Chud the Builder skit. And he actually used to get pegged by some woman that he would pay to peg her back in the day as well. If you don't know what that is, you could look it up. That's not the context of this video, but the guy's got some weird stuff going on.
It's just so pathetic. Like, imagine your obsession is wanting to scream racial slurs at random people you don't even know on the street, while live streaming it for everyone to see online. Like, dude, are you trying to make yourself permanently unemployable? But regardless, in the strangest foreshadowing of what was to come, Chud also talked about how the cops sat him down and essentially told him what would happen if he kept acting up. They told him violence and someone getting hurt or worse.
So I'm talking to these Fed, and it basically got to the point where they were like conceding in a way, like, listen, like basically saying, like, we got nothing on you. And after talking to you, we actually see, like, as humans, want to just give you this piece of advice. They're like, you know where this is going. This only escalates. And I do know this.
And he literally admits to knowing that too in the clip, but was just saying he has faith in God that no one will get hurt.
I just have profound faith in the Lord that things might not go the worst way possible.
Dude.
That's just stupid. Okay, I understand a lot of people have that belief in God, but if you're going there provoking negativity is going to come to you. If you're a good person, sure, we hope that good things come to us, but when you're out there being probably the most evil person on the internet right now, bad things are going to happen. You can't just hope that the Lord is going to keep you safe while you're not doing your obligations of being a good person.
What? There is nothing honorable nor godly about what he is currently doing. But then, to make things even worse, you now have tweets that were recently tweeted where he's outlining his plan to eventually bait someone out to the point where I guess he can just fire at them and take their life, and it would be justified because it would be self-defense. Yeah, that's going to be used in a court of law against him. Apparently that tweet was from a week ago.
Yeah.
And just like he predicted, Chud is now making headlines for reportedly firing multiple shots into a man outside of a Tennessee courthouse. So according to this news article, he'd been scheduled to appear in court in Clarksville on Wednesday morning over a $3,300 debt allegedly owed to a credit company, according to Montgomery County court records. That civil case was filed in February on the behalf of Midland Credit Management. But the reason he was there is kind of irrelevant, because what is relevant to the story is what happened outside. Because I guess outside, an altercation started with a random man, and according to him, The guy punched him and he ended up using his firearm as self-defense, but also managing to hit himself with his own firearm. So apparently during a scuffle, he also grazed himself. And both men were transported to a hospital and both are reported to be stable. So luckily, it sounds like the victim will survive. Not much info can really be released about him due to medical privacy laws, but now it just seems like it's a little bit of a waiting game until we hear from either the authorities or Chud himself or the victim. But Chud also has other court dates, so he's currently stacking court dates, just like Clavicular. So it'll be interesting to see how all of this goes, because it's safe to say that tweet of his and his past behavior is not going to help him whatsoever. But honestly, at the end of the day, anything can really happen in a courtroom.
What they're saying is he tweeted before any of this happened, or he put over on X his plans, right? His plans to get someone to attack him, then he could then shoot that person dead. So this wasn't like it was something that just had happened and he was claiming self-defense. He had planned, he knew that this was going to happen and he had planned this for his content. And then it happened.
But I would absolutely not be surprised if we see charges filed against him for this incident. It's now the next day, and yes, he's now been charged with attempted murder, employing a firearm during a dangerous felony, aggravated assault, and reckless endangerment with a deadly weapon, according to the Montgomery County Sheriff's Office. He also has been booked into the Montgomery County Jail. And right now, there's still a lot of stuff up in the air. But here's some footage from the scene at the courthouse.
Deputies say Dalton Etherly, better known on social media as Chud the Builder, was involved in a fight leading to gunfire. Both men were hospitalized. Deputies just arrested Etherly, charging him with attempted murder, aggravated assault, and reckless endangerment with a deadly weapon. Tonight, he's being held in the Montgomery County Jail.
So in Tennessee, he's currently facing 60 years in prison for all of those charges combined. And there's also been a whole bunch of details that came out, because according to a Facebook post by someone close to the family, Chud the Builder's victim has been identified as Joshua Love. Josh is apparently married with 2 kids, and according to a source, Love was shot in the shoulder and stomach and currently is in surgery. And another important detail is apparently the guy is a veteran. Both of them have GoFundMe's and Give Send Goes. Chud has raised about $100,000, and the guy who was shot has raised about $30,000 currently. And what's not helping either of them is both of them have very extensive criminal records. So when it comes to this case, it's going to be really interesting, because a lot of people are claiming that the guy who was shot doxed him multiple times and was actively trying to find Chud. But again, Chud made all of those statements online essentially saying that this was going to happen. And we've seen footage of what happened in the aftermath, but we don't have any footage of what exactly went down. So it's safe to say, I mean, this will probably be one of the biggest cases of the year. And it was all for nothing. The dude threw away his life because it seems like he wanted to harass and pepper spray strangers on the street for his live stream content.
Now, let me know if this is a case that you're interested in seeing more about. I can keep following it. So let me know in the comments if this is something that you want me to keep a touch on and keep bringing content for.
The guy is no different than Johnny Somali, or well, he's worse, because he clearly has a willful disregard of human life, all in the name of just farming some social media content. This is, without a doubt, the bottom of the barrel when it comes to streaming. But now, he's made his bed, so I guess he just kind of has to sleep in it.
Since I recorded the last bit, Chud has had his arraignment, and now he got a $1.25 million bond, meaning he at least has to come up with, what, 10 to 15% of that if he's even going to get out. So over $125,000 just to have some freedom.
You know, my favorite line from the is, you got freedom of speech, you just don't have the freedom of consequences from your speech.
I'm on set initial bond at 1.25 million.
See, as you can see, the more you around, the more you're going to find out.
I don't know if he's going to get bailed out before his court case. So again, this is so unnecessary. Why did you make your life this difficult for yourself? Here's a quick news clip from the arraignment.
During Friday's hearing, the judge pointed to seriousness of these charges and public safety concerns, as well as Etherly's existing bond status in other cases, while setting that temporary bond amount.
This was just all so preventable. Why would you do that to other people and to yourself just for the sake of some content online?
And the reason was, he wanted to make money, he wanted to become popular, and that was more important than his morality of being a good person. He was willing to put his life at risk, other people's lives at risk, and just be terrible to people for the fame, the clout, and whatever money he was able to make, which maybe wasn't that much since he had an issue with a $3,000 credit bill that he had to pay. Let me know your thoughts down below. Is Chud in the right or in the wrong? And make sure you check out my other videos to dive deeper into other stories. I'll see you guys over there.